Hi, hello, g'day, kia ora, or welcome to the studio. I'm Paula from MoxyMojo. Thank you for joining me for the 9th of December. Our prompt for Dephemerember is altered envelope and coffee mug stains. Let's jump into it. No snack for today, but today's tea, this is one that Tanya gave me. I remembered to take it upstairs so I could make it. It's Twinings Orange and Cinnamon. So I've never had this. I do have a lovely tea bag on the windowsill drying. So let's try it. Oh, that is lovely. Can definitely taste the orange up front, and then the cinnamon is like the aftertaste. Like lovely. And another tea bag packet for our collection. Right, so today is altered envelopes, and I'm pretty sure, like me, you probably have collected 1 or 2 envelopes. These are just a very few of the business envelopes that I've collected and have continued to collect, but just don't seem to use. So I thought, right, I'm going to use one of these today for this prompt. So what I am making is a triple layered fold out pocket stack. At least that's what I'm calling it. So it's a layered triple, and I say triple layered pocket stack because there are going to be 3 pockets stacked one on top of the other, and potentially more if we want to add extra bits onto it. And it's going to be a fold out because we're going to use this flat as that would be your attachment onto a page. Here is my page in my journal. So we're going to attach it onto there, and in your journal it'll sit closed, and then you fold it out. So fold out, because why not? So now this envelope, when I gently prized it apart, I've just torn some of the envelope, so I do want to just trim that off very, thoughtfully, just so that I've got, a reasonably tidy-ish shape, and that's our starting point. So now, you can use whatever size envelope you want for this. It's just I want to utilise this window here in my creating, which, let's be honest, I'm making life difficult for myself. So what I want to do is I want to give it like this amount below here. So today is all about eyeballing and estimating how much we want. So I'm going to there. So that gives me, that's about the same as that. I want to make sure that this side lines up, and we're going to just fold across there. So that's going to be our bottom edge. Now, I'm not sure, if you want to, you could shorten this a wee bit, and it is a bit taller than I thought. So maybe I will just trim it off there. But no, I want that edge there. So hang on. What we want is, so we've got one pocket there. This is going to be folded up. So we're going to have another pocket in here, and then a pocket in this one, as well. So I think I want, so we can either have 2 side loading pockets or two front loading pockets. Or what we could do is, if we cut this off a bit, we could fold it down and fold the front down and have like a corner pocket. So maybe we'll do that way. So we'll have a side one, a top one, and a corner pocket. Okay, so, right, so we've folded it up. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to trim, for the moment, just off this bottom part of the flap. Okay. So that is going to be the bit that we attach onto the page. So there. So we've only got that bit because this is going to be folded up, so it doesn't need the flap. Right. So now the next step is like a personal choice step. We can either cut straight down here, or you can shape this. And I think I'm going to do straight. So if that's the case, then I'm going to trim through here. And we're going to, can this fit in there? Can we get it to fit in there? Not that way. No, that's not going to fit either way. So we are on scissors duty for this. I was hoping not to have to measure, but I want this to be straight. So that's 1/32 underneath an inch. Well, I should probably go this way, would make more sense. So 9.6 millimeters. 9.6 millimeters. So we now rule across or cut across there. This is what happens when you change plans along the way. But I think that's going to look nicer. So just cutting through both layers of the envelope up to that cut in. So there we go. So now we've got just a straight pocket there. What we need to do now is our final cut on the envelope. And this one we can use the choppy. We're going to put this in with our end there. And this is where you can decide how big you want your pocket. And I quite like the idea. Let's make it 8 centimeters. So we've cut off about 3/4 of an inch, I'm guessing. So yep, that's a good height. And then for our, so that gives us 2 pockets. So 1, and then when we glue this down, there'll be 2 in there. And then what we're going to do with this one is, now it's rectangle, so we can either go to there, or we can go down to there. And I quite like the idea of going down to there, because it will add some interest and doesn't make it look quite so boxy from the other side. Right. So this is our base from our shape from our envelope. So we've turned our envelope into our 3 pockets, and I mean at this stage I'm not going to glue the pockets down because I want to alter these surfaces and give them some colour, some interest from the scraps that I've got from Tanya and Robin. Now, while I was going through these scraps, I also found, if I can find it, some envelopes, some more envelopes. So we've got a CD envelope, which I wasn't sure, oh look, that's the perfect height. So we can even add that in as a flip over the top. And, but is it too long? That's the only question. Because I thought it would be quite cool to be able to do that. So if we flip it that way, then it's okay. Depends on, now we need to have it. So if we have it there, yep, that's okay. Or if we go there and fold it that way, yep, so it will fit, but we need to be very careful how much we use. So we've got that there. I actually kind of like it over this way. So we'll be like, here's your envelope sitting in the thing, and you'll see it like this. So you can open this out, and then you'd open this out, and then you see the 1 pocket, 2 pockets, 3 pockets. So yeah, and so what we'll need to do is attach that first in order to be able to cover this and secure it really well. So then I've got these other 2 envelopes, which I also had on hand, and whether we want to do something with them. So we could always go, it was just a bit too tall. So too tall for there. I should have thought about that before, and I could have cut that one taller. But we can always use this one instead. So this is from Tanya. The other 2 are from Robin. So we could always go like that. We'll put that up. And then that will protect also whatever is in there. So we'd have there. So that one's there. That one's there. And there. All depends on how much decorating we can do onto this. It's very lightweight, so I wouldn't be able to do much. We'd need to double side it because it's got pockets on either side, but that would give us 2 and 3 is 5 and 1 is 6 pockets. We're going extreme pocketing here, so let's just jump in and do it. So first thing we want to do is attach this to there. Try not to do too much glue on there. And I'm just making sure that the top of this layer here is like not too close to the fold there. Making sure that, yep, that is shorter than there. So we can perhaps, if we can, move it back just a little. Yep, but lucky, because it's plastic, we can just slide it down a smidge. Right, so that's there. So now let's try that. Yeah. No, I want it down even further. So I'm putting it down about, I'm probably getting to about 1/4 inch now. Alright. I'm going to leave it there. I don't want to move it again because I'm likely to tear something. But that is better. Okay, so that's in place. And then we're going to attach this one to there. And this one's already decorated. Thank you, Tanya. So I don't need to do anything with that. Although maybe I'll add something to the back. So now we're going to put this up the top here, but again I need to make sure, whoops, what we want to do is clear off any of this glue because we need to be able to fold it out, but I just want to make sure, yep, that's there, clear any excess, and that is flat to there. Alright, so there we go with our pockets. Alright, so now we need to, while those ones dry, we need to sort out what we are going to use to alter each of the surfaces. So we've got our inside flap, we've got part of this, because it's going to be stuck down, although we do need to bring it down, so we might as well do the whole, you know, most of the whole thing. We've got the inside here now, in this flap, we've got some decorating here, this side, and then here with our window, which we'll see if we keep the window or not. I did want to keep it, but we may change our mind on this. So, okay, so I've got all my bits almost ready to go, and I just thought I'd run through. There's a couple I need to trim down, but then we're all ready to go. So what I've done is I've gone through and inked every edge that I think is going to be exposed. So I haven't done in here because of course that's going to be stuck down, but I've done these ones where I'm, you know, paper is maybe not going to touch the edge exactly. The only thing I need to do is round there. So, and for that I've used walnut stain distress ink, and just, you know, as per what we would normally do, I've just inked the edges of everything. And I've gone pretty dark because that's the way, you know, I kind of like it. I like my inking to be nice and strong. Right, there we go. So that one's done. And just because I know what I'm like, we'll just quickly wipe that up. So everything's now inked. At least I think everything's inked. And so let's just quickly run through and make sure I've got all the bits that I need. So I don't need to decorate the outside of that. That's done. For that one, we're going to put on that book paper. For inside there, I've got that strip. I've got, where are we? That one for there. I've got, and I've kind of, oh, for the back of there, I've got this one. For this one, I've stumbled on a brilliant idea, I think. So this was a paper bag. I've cut off one corner to fit, and that's going to go on either side. And so we're going to have gold here and on the corner flop over bit. So that's in there. We've then got our CD pocket, and for that I've got, which one are we going? We're going that one there and that one there. And then the last one where the window is this piece here. So right, so let's just go over a couple of things for like trimming and shaping. So we can pull that out, we can pull that out. That one's okay. That one's okay. Right, so it's these ones here that we need to just talk about. So this one here, we've got the curve here of the envelope. And I've got this piece of paper that's going in here. Doesn't need to go all the way down because, of course, this is going to be stuck in place over the top. But what I've done is I've drawn the curve, whoops, that way around, sorry. I've drawn the curve to match the envelope. So what I did was I stuck the paper in, I marked on here where I need the curve to start and finish, put it in here and lined up the two marks, and then basically drew along the side of the envelope. So now I can just take my scissors and follow this line that I've sketched, and hopefully, if all goes according to plan, that will line up how we need it. And look at that. So it follows the curve. You know, I'm maybe a wee bit out, but I can just like shove this over a wee bit to line it up, and we're good to go. So there. So that's that bit. Now, there's a curve here. I've done well, this one here, I like kind of was flipping up and tracing what I needed on this. So we'll do this one next. And it was relatively easy to kind of copy this line. Just by flipping it up and looking at where the line needed to be. Oops, can't cut straight because the paper's so flimsy. And I particularly picked this because I didn't want anything too heavy. So there we go. So that matches pretty good. Let's go there. Yep. So that's pretty good. So then what I want to do is transfer that onto this one. So this one's going to go on this side like this. So, and I'm not worrying about that. I want that to be there. So let's just check with our lineup of our paper. And yep, so that's there. I don't mind if that hangs down a wee bit. There, and so that's lining up there. That's lining up there. So I'm just going to hopefully sketch so I can see where that line needs to be. And yep, I can see a line there, so we're just going to do the same thing there. I just kind of lost it a wee bit, so okay, there we go. And there. So we should be good for there. Alright. And the last one, of course, is our window. So I'm lucky in that I've got my practice envelope. And that was kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to find exactly the same envelope, so that I could know for sure my window was going to work. So this is my bit here. I just need to check my lineup of my window, and that is, so that's going to go there. So make sure that I've got my fold in the same place. So keep everything out of the way. So that's there, and yep, our fold is okay about 1 millimetre up on this one. So I mean, that's near enough that I don't need to worry about it. So now all I'm going to do is slip this underneath the way I want it. So we're going to put that there. And now I want that to line up with that edge very carefully. Flip that over and then just trace this window in onto the piece of paper. And my tracing skills are not very good. I'm getting drawing all over the pattern here. Right, so now what I need to do is cut about 1 millimetre outside of that line, and we will be fine. So I'm just going to start it with some very small, very sharp scissors. And I might actually carry on with these. And I'm going to just kind of, at the moment I'm going smaller than what I need. But that's just because I want to get that space in the middle for me to cut. And I probably could have done this, you know, better so that I was conserving more of my paper, but I didn't think about that. I can still use the scrap there. I mean, it doesn't matter. I'll stick it down. No one will ever know. Right, so now, here we go. again, because I'm right-handed, which way do I want to go? I'm going to come over here and go just outside that line, including the corners. So the good news is that means that I'm not going to have random pencil marks on my window covering, because I have cut outside of them. Hopefully we're not cutting too big, but that's what you get when you eyeball things, Paula. And just there. So that's our window cut. And here's the test. Look at that. Spot on. The only thing I didn't think about was that, of course, I haven't inked my window, so I need to do that. So there, I think I need to trim that side just a little bit in order to fit us on. So I'm perhaps a little bit high, but you know, I'm not going to worry about it. So now I'm just going to ink this edge. Whoops, trying not to pull everything out from underneath it. Trying not to tear the edge of the window frame. That's what I was, you know, thinking about saying. Alright, so there we go. That's that. And now we are just going to clean any excess ink off there. Hopefully that will work. Right, done. So now it's just a matter of very quickly, and hopefully very quickly, gluing everything into place in the right spots. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be back once it's all done. Okay, so everything is now attached. We've got our we've got our tuck here, we've got a pocket here, our pocket in the side. We've got a little wee pocket in here. Then if we flip it over, we've got, of course, the two pockets on our CD case. And then we've got, that's the third pocket from behind, but we're showing with a window. So we can always actually add something here to give us another pocket. But what we need to do now is kind of the dressing, putting in like our journal, some journal cards. So we're going to make some of those. So now I did want to try this. I think it's going to fit perfectly. So we'll just see. So it does fit in there height-wise. How does it look there? That looks pretty cool. Just seeing that recipe card there. So I think that's all I'm going to do. Though I will probably decorate here. So we've got one in there. So now I want something to tuck down into there. Just having a quick look. What have we got? Now, one thing I did want to do was I wanted to put this in there. So is that going to fit? So there we go. Just because I think this is so cool. It's a South African property card from Monopoly. So I'm going to put it in South African side up and just sit it in there. And what I could do is add like an eyelet and a ribbon to it, but we're just going to sit it there for now. What have we got in from Tanya here? Now I love these, really love them. So I've got some letter ones. So, but I like this really long number one. So maybe I chop that. So let's just slice it here. And then we can, if I slice it right on the, just in the middle of the 44. There we go. And that can go in there as well. Bit of zhuzhing. Now the other thing I need to do is the second part of our prompt, and that is coffee mug stains. Well, I don't drink coffee, so I haven't got a coffee mug, but I do have a couple of stamp sets. One has got these awesome coffee rings, and the other has got kind of a splatter as well as a ring. So I thought, and I've got archive a link in coffee, so it just has to be. So just grab a couple of stamps, and I'm going to stamp these just totally randomly on these two items first because they're out. And here's our first ring. Now the only thing is because this is like a coated cardstock, I'm going to need to leave that to dry. Not like this one here, not so much, because it's not coated, so the ink will soak in. See, that looks much crisper. Nice. Nice. And oh, hang on, I think we need some splatters. So where are we? Splatters. Let's just go for this one. Oops. In there. Yeah, awesome. That's what I like. Alright, so put the stamps aside for now. So, yep, that one's still drying. That one can go in there. I'm happy with that one. Right, so I need something to go in the front here. Now, wouldn't it be funny if we put a tea bag in there? So where's today's tea bag thingy? Let's put that in there, so we know what we had on that day. Now, I want to add something onto here. And because we've got the gold, I mean, it's not the right gold. But, what else can we put? So, we've got like some coffee stain. No, that doesn't look right. that kind of brings in the yellow from there and mirrors the gold. So we can always put like that there. So let's just kind of do some more. Bringing it down here. And then I just need to bring it across like that. And then we are going to add some walnut stain ink. All around this. And then just stick it on. And I mean, this is where you can start to add on as many layers and bits and pieces as you like. This is where you like splurge to your heart's content. So we've got that there, alright, I like that. And then I think we need another coffee stain on there. What we might do, and this is like kind of inspiration from what Louisa was doing last month, I think, with her like showing the layers of her different thing and having like coffee or stains, paint stains. I've got some stamps that do exactly that. So long as I can like match them up exactly and know where to stamp them, then we are good to go. So if I put that there, we want it about there. Cool. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah. And then we can always do the other corner for down the bottom. And even though I haven't got anything on the upper layer, I don't think that matters. So there, and then here's the other corner. So we're going to go there and there. Now, I don't know if you can see it. So on there, you can see it looks like we've gone around on that envelope. Doesn't that look cool? Thank you for that idea, Louisa. That was awesome. This one here, I was thinking about adding some of this, which I'm guessing might be, it's like lace, but I'm guessing it might be coffee dyed lace. So if I do this here, and if I glue it on either side, the bottom and the side, then that becomes another pocket. So I'm just going to trim that through. Thank you, Tanya, for the lace. I think it's gorgeous. Right, so you're getting on everything there. So gluing the sides and the bottom only. Whoops. Try not to get glue absolutely everywhere. And hopefully that is enough glue for this. Now I need some things for in these pockets. So I've got these two, so I could try, because I love these, and they're backed onto something else. So there, so I've got that there. So I'd only need to trim, oh that, look, go that way. So I just need to trim to length. And which way do we want to trim? That's the question. So we've got that one, and then that one can also potentially fit. So there, do I want to chop there, or do I want to chop there? And I feel like it should go that way because the letters are then up the right way. I don't want it to look like half and half, so I think we're going this way. So there, so I am, whoops, I am putting the pin in my glue before that clogs up. So we want to go, shifting everything out of the way. That can go in there. I think I want to go there. 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 And so we're going to trim. So I've still got some really cool stuff. And then that is in there. Now from Robin rather. So we've got either that or that. Right, so that one, oh, that one will fit in. So I just need to slice it. That one would be the same. They're backed on book paper. And then that one is the wrong size. So, okay, that's it. Easy decision. One of these two. I like this one. So now we just need to decide where we are trimming it. So that should hopefully go in there. I may just need to trim it a smidge, but there. Just the width of it. So that's there, and where's my mark? There. And I'm just going to take off the tiniest smidge on the side. There we go. So now, this one should fit in there. Oops, wrong way around. Yep, look at that. And then that folds over. So there we are. So imagine this is our page. So we're going to adhere it to the back, and then whatever you put on the back will cover it. And then that folds over in your journal. So you're going to see this. So we really want something to put on there if that's going to be the side that we see. Or we can do it that way. I mean, either way. So maybe we'll do it that way, actually. Because that gives us a hint that, yeah, there's something underneath. Now, tuck spot for in there. What about that other half of that? Yep, that works. So now I'm just going to my biggest corner rounder. And I may just, what I might do is I'm probably going to sew around the outside of this, just because I think that would look really cool, and that sits in there. So we've got our tuck spot there. Whoops. Then you flip it out, and you flip it out, and you see, oh look, I've got something in there. And I've got something in there. And then you've got another flip. And, oh, I've got to put something in there. Then we've got our tea. We've got a couple of things in there. And then we've got our recipe card there, which I quite like. So I haven't done a lot in terms of journaling cards, but it's more about the envelope, I think, than the journaling cards. Now if that was going to annoy you, you could like glue that down in place. I'll see how annoying it gets. I just want something to go in there. So that's a little bit too narrow. What have we got? Anything? Oh, will that fit? No, that's too big. But that might fit in there. So yeah, I want to hold on to that too. Right, well I'm really happy, I'm pleased with that. I don't want to decorate that side and there. So, there we go. It was supposed to be a triple layered fold out pocket stack, but it's not. We've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pockets in there. And I mean, it's only that flat. So, and that will squish down a wee bit. Right, I love it, love it. Right, I am starting to get really hot and sweaty in the studio, which is not an attractive look or feel, shall we say. So I'm going to head up to my air-conditioned lounge and have a cold drink. I will see you back in the studio for our next prompt. Bye for now.